Mesachta Zevachim Perek Gimel, starting from Lamed Aleph Lamed Beis. Today's daf is daf Lamed Beis. Lev. Okay, Kol Apsulit. All those that are puzzled to do the Aveda. Nashim, Avadim Knanim, they're all puzzled to do the Aveda.
If he's not a kohen.
He's not a kohen, Azar, Sheshachtu, that they shachted a carbon. Shchitas and Ksheira. By the Shchita, it's not a problem. They could shecht. Shashchita, Ksheira b'Zarim, u'b'Nashim, u'b'Avadim, u'b'Tmeim. For the Shchita, we know, is even kosher for Zarim, even though when it comes to the other Avedi, you need Afka Kohen. Nashim, the same as the Chiddush, that women are normally puzzled. Even Kohanis women are puzzled with the Aveda, Tmeim, and of course Avadim Knani. But even when it comes to Kachim, they could do the Shchita. Providing that they shouldn't be Tameh, that they could impurify the meat of the carbon. So in order not to pass the carbon. Yeah. It's terrible. So then there's Nishtawas Nadan. Yeah.
So how does he do the shchita without the Talmud the basar?
You can't even spray the blood because if they murim of the basar, everything is tamei. Forget about it. Lefikach. And therefore, since they're kosher for the shchitas hakarbin, so it's like the kohen doing the shchita. And if they have a machshavas pigul, they'll passel the carbon. Therefore, psulim machshava. They can pass with the machshava. So kulan, all these psulim shekiblas adam. Once it comes to the kabbalas adam, and the shekiblas adam, they were makabel adam bekli sharis, right? And now there was the machshava chutz lezmani v'chutz l'mekaymei im yesh dam nefesh. If there's still leftover blood upon which the animal lives off, that blood. Yachzer hakosha v'kabel. The kohen who's kosher should go back and receive it with a kli sharis in order that the carbon should and spray it on the mizbeach. Do the kabbalah. No kabbalah. If they did the kabbalah, if there's still leftover blood coming out of the animal, which is called dam chai, the dam nefesh, so then the kohen should go ahead and grab the keli and receive it with his keli.
Therefore,
it's not a problem. Okay. Im kibel hakosha. If the kohen kosher was makabel a klishar, the dam through a klisharis, minasam le'pasul, and in the midst he transferred it to somebody who was possible to do the avodah, whether he gave it to his wife or to a zar or to whoever. Yachzir the kohen kosher, let him return it back. This pasul one that's holding on to the klishars, give it back to the kohen kosher, that he should bring it to the mizbeach to spray on the mizbeach. Kibel,
so what are you trying to say?
that even though there was a hefsek, even though it went through a psul, it's still fine. Kibel be yamina. If he received it with his right hand, the kli is with his right hand. Midnasan l'smailei, and it's supposed to be in the right hand. Yazel yamin, it's just return it back to the right hand, and it's fine. And continue the avodah. Kibel, if he was the kohen was makabel blood from the neck of the behemoth bekli kodesh with a holy vessel, midnasan l'kli chayil. And then actually put it into a kli chayil, but the first kli, the kli rishon to receive the blood was a kli sharis, kli kodesh. Then he put in the kli chayil. Yasel the kli kodesh. We even further nishmach kli. If the whole blood we learned in the Gemara before, this is the muckers here. If the whole blood fell out of the kli sharis, come with a vacuum cleaner, suck it up, and then you let it put it back into the kli.
When they wanted to clean up floods, what did they use?
Oh yeah, it's like a vacuum cleaner. Okay, minat kli, alaritzba. You suck it up, you gather it together, and then you put it back into the kli sharis. Kosher, it's kosher. Zog the Mishnah and the Sonai al gabei hakevesh. If he placed the blood on the ramp itself, instead of the blood being put on the wall, on the wall of the mizbeach, there was a chut hasikra, there was a red line, and the kachim, those bloods went on top of the chut hasikra. All the other karbanis went on the bottom. So what did he do? Instead of putting it on the wall, b'chlal, he put it on the ramp. Shaloi connect that you say, and he put it in the area which is not corresponding to the foundation of the Mizbeach. The foundation of the Mizbeach, or I don't know if you call it a platform, had been stuck out from three sides. One side didn't have it. So that side that didn't have it, that would make it possible. Only it had to be put in those areas where there was a foundation of the Mizbeach. Okay? Nasan as hanitona lamayla, lamata lamayla. As hanitona lamayla lamata. For those bloods that which had to be placed under the red line that went around the Mizbeach, he placed it above it. And those that had to be placed above, he placed it under it. And those bloods that had to be placed in the Mizbeach HaPnimi, he put it in the Mizbeach HaChitzai. Those that had to be placed in the Mizbeach HaChitzai, he placed it in the Mizbeach HaPnimi. If there's still leftover blood, no, dam hanefesh in the behema yachzer hakasher v'kabel. That the kohen who's kosher go take the klisharis to the neck of the behema and receive some more blood and do it over again.
How long does that last?
The blood comes out for a little while. Yeah. Sagt die Gemara. The lashon of the Mishnah, it says kol hapsulin shechachatu, that they already had slaughtered the animal. Oh, so with the Yavad in. You're saying only if it's already slaughtered in. Chatchila no. Chatchila loy. In fact, the mother, right, like you said, it should have said in Allah, should call up some lavida, ksheida l'shchita. What do you think? Shechachatu, zem gishachlin. It was already done. Rabbi, in fact, you want to akasha, v'shachad. It says, what does the word v'shachad come to teach us? Shechita b'zar ksheira. That even if a zar does the shchita, the shchita is kosher. Shashchita ksheira bizar ubenashim va'avadim u'b'tmeim afilu b'kachim kachim. That's what bishachat of the pasuk comes to teach us. So the Braisa is maybe oiji, or perhaps bishachat that says in the pasuk ein ela b'kahanim. Perhaps maybe it's coming to teach us only kahanim can do the shchita and nobody else. That's why it says bishachat. It says the Gemara Amarta. Maybe you're going to say v'chim ayim basa. From where's your market to tell me that the shechita has to be done dafka with a kohen? It doesn't say the word kohen. If you read in the pasuk, it says v'shachat sadam. It doesn't say anything. I'm sorry. It says v'shachat sabaka lefnei Hashem.
All the other avodas have to be done with a kohen, so maybe the v'shachat also has to be. Well, why would you say it doesn't have to
all
be?
The other one says b'feish the b'nei Aaron or kahanim. It says, but by v'shachat it says v'shachat sabaka lefnei Hashem. It doesn't say the word kohen. So if Gemara, so he says, from this that it says, you are not kohen and your children with you should heed your priestship. You don't allow a zar to do the avodas hakahuna. So what does that mean? For any avodas of the mizbeach, which includes, I would say, shchita. I would have thought it includes even shchita. This pasuk
Has to be with a kohen.
has to be with a kohen. And then Bikrivu goes on the Kabbalah. Bikrivu b'nei Aaron kahanim es Adam. So Bikrivu is Kabbalah Sadam. We know, but only by the Kabbalah Sadam it says Bikrivu b'nei Aaron kahanim. There it says b'feish by the Kabbalah Sadam that b'nei Aaron kahanim. But by the Shechita it says v'shach sabak. It doesn't say anything about a kohen. So as Gemara with Kabbalah be'elach mitzvahs kahuna. That means from Kabbalah and on, that's where the mitzvah of kahuna, the chayv of a kohen has to do the service over there. Limeid al hashchita shikshir b'chol adam. It's come to teach us, but the b'shachat that can be done by any person.
Maybe he means only a Yisrael and not a woman and not a what do you say? What else did he say?
No, once you shada b'shachat, he doesn't say anyone. Yeah, but what makes it say Dafka Yisrael? You're going to have a... It doesn't say it. If it said Dafka Yisrael or Fashteich, but it doesn't say anything, which is coming to imply everybody.
Also with a guy?
Avid Kanani is good. It has to be in the Avid Kanani. Yeah. Yeah, Avadim Kanani. Look in the Hebrew. Look in the Hebrew side, you'll see it says Avadim Kanani by the words of Avadim. I'm not going to yeah, okay. Who are the nami? Says the Gemara that same is applicable even to begin with. So is a kasha, right? So and it says v'shachatu. So why does it say v'shachatu, which is mashma shashachtu, which is mashma b'diavad? So the Gemara answers that tmeim could also sacrifice on the mizbeach. I forgot to tell you that Rashi, the tmeim has to be a tamei sheretz, because if it was a tamei maze, he would be a avatuma, and if he touched the basa, it would become tamei, it would become a rishon. Whatever, yeah. But if he's from a sheretz, a rishon doesn't make a sheni tuma. That's what he's saying. So over here he says, since he learned already tmeim, the chatchila we don't want a tamei to deal with it. He might touch the meat, and he might be somebody who's a tamei mace, That's why we learned b'diavad dikelasha. But by shchit he can do a chatchila. Here the only reason that he used a b'diavad dikelasha was because of the tmeim. Says you want to have a tamei that shacks the carbon b'diavad shapidami. You're saying that tamei that shacks is good? What do you mean? Let's get slida. Shteiten pasik v'samach yada al reish ha'ila. It says he should lean his hand on the head of the ha'ila, and then it says right next to it v'shach tzabak l'fnei Hashem. So when you have smichus, you call it a hekesh. You compare one to the other. So what do? We compare the din of smichus abaylim to shchita, ma smicha, or the reverse. That the shchita we compare to smicha. Ma smicha is only b'teirim, is dafke b'teirim. Av shchita b'teirim. So when he come off saying that if he does b'diavad, that does the aveda shchita b'diavad, so clearly it's a stira on our Mishnah. Says sheshachat utmeim that sheshachtu b'diavad is good. How could it be? The Baraisa asks a tamei to shacht is only b'derabana, because he might touch the bas of itme'enu. This hakish is only a support that it's a isa derabana. Because since it's only with the abundance, therefore we say b'diavad it's going to be kosher. So like you want to buy smicha. Why by smicha you say it's only tahirim? Why? And the Gemara, because this is lifnei Hashem. It says smicha has to be done lifnei Hashem, meaning in the Hazara. And who could a tamei come into the Hazara? Absolutely not. So therefore he cannot do smicha. Like Gemara shchita nami. So shita. Haksiv, we find that the Torah writes also lifnei Hashem. So let us learn out that Midaraisa he's not allowed to shech because he has to shech lifnei Hashem. You can have. He doesn't have to stand inside. You can make a long chalif like these two tables are long, sharpen it, and then he finds where the behemoth is inside the hazara, and he goes like that. It's done. So he doesn't have to be inside the hazara. Theoretically, good. So therefore, you can't say, "Oh, it's not. It has to be lefnei Hashem." He cannot do a bituma. He could do a bituma. Lefnei Hashem. He's not going to be lefnei Hashem. He's going to be outside the hazara.
We're talking about tumah midirabbanan, right?
By shchita, yeah. So you want to smicha nami. Says this. It should be midaraisa, just like you said by smicha. Yes. He cannot be tamei because it has to be lefnei Hashem. That's mefedesh in the Torah. So saying you want to shchita shows me when Torah you cannot shech. It has to be lefnei Hashem. Says no, shchita does not have to be lefnei Hashem. He can be outside the hazara and do the shchita. So you want to smicha nami absolutely ayil yadu v'samich. Like what are you talking about? Smicha you can do the same thing. Stand outside, right, and lean just the hands on top of it. It's not Oisha Beruba. He puts his hands inside. Stands right by the hazara. They bring the behemoth close to him. He's standing outside.
It's also called lifnei Hashem.
It's not lifnei Hashem. He's not inside the hazara. The whole Isser, the smicha has to be lifnei Hashem. Meaning, but the smicha could be performed in a way that he doesn't have to be inside, and therefore, as a tamei, he's not allowed to do smicha. Say he's standing outside and his hands are touching are leaning on the animal. That's not a problem.
Oh, so he's not inside.
He's not inside.
So if the hands are there alone, it's not considered.
It's the rubi kakule. No. So the Gemara kasava be a mixer shma be after the Gemara. No, it does. They say be a mixer has a name of be. Not everybody holds that. It's machlokes. We'll get to it soon.
Okay, but
that's his answer. That's what he can. You can't even put in mixers. The moment you put in mixers of your hands, it's considered you're fully there.
Keep your hands out.
Your hands out. Unhand. Okay, so Gemara. Rav Chizda Masni Yipcha. Rav Chizda learns the Baraisa the reverse. He says it says v'samach v'shachat, and the hekesh goes from smicha to shchita, not from shchita to smicha. Ma shchita, just like shchita b'tahina can only be done as a Torah person.
If you want to learn that way.
We're going to get to it in a minute. Av smicha b'tahina. Why shchita does it? It has to be tahirim. Why is it only b'tahirim? Because it says the word lefnei Hashem, and he's unable to enter into the Beis Hamikdash and do shchita while he's lefnei Hashem. He's tummy. A tummy is not allowed to enter into the Beis Hamikdash. In fact, you want to smicha nami, ksiv lefnei Hashem. So let us learn out what he needs. Smicha. Well, he's saying. Also says the lefnei Hashem. The words lefnei Hashem. So what do I need the hekesh for? What do I have to learn out smicha from shchita? It says lefnei Hashem by smicha itself. What do I have to learn out from the shchita? But you want to have shir the ma'ayil b'yodei is samach, because by smicha he can get away with it. He's able to put his hands, and he holds that it's not shma biyah. If he only puts in his hands, it's not considered as biyah. Says he He can make a long knife. He doesn't have to enter. So why do you say by shchita he has to be dafka toyim? And if you want to hum money, who's this rise of following? Shimon Hatimoni, who holds that even a sheikhet, while he's inside the hazar at the time of the shafting of the carbon, he has to be there. Shimon Hatimoni says he cannot be standing outside and doing a shchita inside. Where do we see that? The Tanya we learned in Ferish Nabraisa, it says, "V'shachat as ben habak lefnei Hashem." He should slaughter the young ox before Hashem. It's mashma. Only the ox has to be before Hashem. Habaka lefnei Hashem. V'lo yashaychet lefnei Hashem. But the sheikhet does not have to be before Hashem. That's the Tanakama. Here we come to the punchline. Shimon Hatimni. We're saying our Mishnah follows Shimon Hatimni. Shimon Hatimni. B'nayim. How do we know that the hands of the sheikh has to be inside? That he has to, the meaning the sheikh has to be in the hazara.
Maybe just his hands inside.
No, we're saying how do we know that he has to be completely inside? Yeah, but here he holds that that bia, mixes bia is considered as bia. So it comes to teach us that even Hasheichet is ben abak yehin lefnei Hashem, and he cannot stand outside the hazar to shecht with a long chalaf. That's the sheet of the Baraisa, like Rav Chizda learned, that it's a dava apashit that a tamei cannot shecht kachim. Anyway, so let's go weiter. So he says, because it says v'shachat. Since it says v'shachat and he should shech, right? So when he says he should shech, that means the person who's shechting has to be inside the hazara, and that's why he says we can learn smicha from shchita. Shchita, we know he has to be tired because we have v'shachat that tells you the sheikh has to be inside, and smicha we would think, if it would only be because of Lefnei Hashem, I would say, okay, he can stick his hands in. Because we learn now from Shechita with the Hekish that the Smicha is going to be Yasser. 50 in 10-2. Okay, Zak Yimara, Ama Ula, Ama Rish Lakish. Ula had said in the name of Rish Lakish, Tomei Shehichnes Yad Lefnim. A tummy that entered his hands, brought in his hands into the Azara. Like he gets Malchus. Shanama, like it says by Yeledis. A girl is 2 weeks, a boy is 1 week, and then there's 33 days or 66 days. Says in any case they should not touch. Well, Hamikdash leisabe and not enter into the Beis Hamikdash. Makish bia lenagia. We compare the entering of the Beis Hamikdash to touching. Ma negis b'mikdash ma negia. Just like my negia. When you're touching something, you're not touching the whole thing, you're touching a little bit, right? So too, avbiyah, the mixah, shma biyah. Even just biyah, the mixah is considered as biyah.
It's just putting in your hands.
Yeah, even just putting in your hands, it's considered as you fully had entered. Says the Gemara, Eisvei, Rab Hishaya, Rab Ula. Rab Hishaya asked on Ula, who says that just being mixas is considered as fully entered. It says, Mitzayra Shachol, Shmini Shaloi Li is better Pesach. A Mitzvah, who the 8th day, the 7th day he goes to mikveh, right? Then he has to have the kapara, and he has to have the blood placed on his earlobe, on his finger, on his toe. Okay, and he also saw the Tumas Keri that same day. V'taval, and he went to
All he
mikveh.
needs is head of shemesh, right? For Keri.
Right. That's if it's one time. If it's twice, he has to wait 7 days.
He
Here's a Tful Yain. Yeah. So now, if it's only a Tful Yain, he was a Tful Yain. So then the din is that he could, as a Tful Yain, he could enter in to the Azara, meaning the outside Azara, not going into the Azara Pnimius.
What's the answer?
There's okay, so you have like this. There were 3 machnes. So you had from the entrance of the Har Abayis and inside, right, including the Ezes Nashim, till the Shah Nikner. That's called Machne Laviyah. The Shah Nikner Lefnim. That's called Azara Pnimis. Okay. So anyways, over here, Amr Chacham, the Chacham said, Afal Pish ain't full yoin acher nichnas, even though there's no other full yoin of Tumas Keri that can enter into the Har Abayis, Zen nichnas. This Mitzayra, who is a Keri, could go inside. Okay? Because we're soon going to see. But why? He needs to get the matan, he has to get the blood on his lobe, and he has to stick his ear and his toe inside in order to finish his tara from the Tumas Metzera. And if not, if he doesn't finish that tara, he can't eat the Karban Pesach. And if you don't eat the Karban Pesach, you chayiv kares. So he says, Mutav shayavei, the mitzvah of asay of making the Karban Pesach, which sheyesh me kares, if you don't do it, if somebody doesn't eat the Karban Pesach, he has kares, ve'yitcha, and he pushes off the mitzvah of asay, of sending away a Tful Yom who's a Balkari, because the Tful Yom has a din like a Zav, that he has to stay out of, he's not allowed to enter into the Beis HaMikdash. It says you should be Mishalech. But if he does come in, Shein by Kares, there is no Kares. There's no Kares by somebody who's a Tomei or a Tful Yom, only if he enters the Machne of the Shechina, which a Mitzvah will have to do that for his ear. We're soon going to ask about that. But B'Pel Mamash, he says that to eat the Karban Pesach overrides that mitzvah say, because by not doing it, there's a chiv of kares, overrides the Tful Yom who has a din like a zav, where that I say you have to send him out, where there's no din of kares if he ends up going in. So, even I say there isn't. Before Tful Yom shall carry, he holds, there's no Isam in HaTorah that he has to leave. There's no Isam in HaTorah.
He's only a Keri.
Because it's a limud that is not Beferish in the Torah. It was a novelty that from many years later that we learned out this chidush that a Tful Yom cannot enter into the Beis HaMikdash. We're going to see now. Shenema, like it brings down in Divrei Hayamim, that's in the Viyim. So what's the by Chotza Chadosha? What was the Kavanah saying Chadosha? Why do you call it Chadosha? But Rabbi Yechon Shechitzu ba Chachamim, the Chacham were Mechadish Dvarim Nu Dinim. Amongst them were Tful Yom al Yekones lemach laviyah, that he shouldn't enter to the mach laviyah, meaning to the Har Abayis. So this is a Tful Yom Har Abayis was only with the Rabbanan. That was a drasha that the Chachamim. So sure, it's not even it's not even a say min HaTorah that you have to send them out. That's something a limit that we learned later on, which is only with the Rabbanan. So you might be a mixed shma bia. But if you're going to say entering even a little bit is considered as a bia, How was it? A new Shaila. He's a Mitzvah. You remember amongst the Tumah he was a Mitzvah. The way a Mitzvah has to become purified completely, you have to put blood on his earlobe, right? Where was the behemoth? Where was the blood?
How does he put his hands?
Hands. He needed to put his finger also. It says his finger, his toe, his head. Here, if you want to go through all the whole purity over there, it says all of them had to be there. Okay, he's going to bring it here also. How can he bring it here? Kate said, says Yodei, Vereishoi, Veragloi. In the Hebrew, all three. Into the Hazara to get the blood placed, they put from the Dama Asham and the oil and the Shemen on the Tnuch of the Aznai, on the earlobe, and the thumb of the finger and the thumb of the toe, the right toe.
Yeah.
So since he had to stick his ear into the Azara, so Lechera, how was he allowed? That was Asim in Atera. So either both, it's the mitzvah say of Korban Pesach. If he doesn't need it, there is a Isa of Karis, and even the mitzvah of one who sticks his ear into the Shechina place, into the Azara, that's Aseh Sheyesh B'Konos, so you have to send him away. A Tvul Yoim that goes into the Machna of the Shechina, he's Chayiv Karis.
So either I say she has.
Oh, that's his kasha. So Eid, we decide, there's a mitzvah says, send him out of the Machna of the Shechina. And he had to enter a little bit into the Machna of the Shechina, with his ear, his finger, his thumb, and his toe. And we said even mixes bia is considered as a full bia. So we got a problem over here. Both of them are mitzvah say, sheyesh b'koros. Why should one override the other? He doesn't. He shouldn't be able to push over. No, he wasn't sticking the hands. What we thought is a Tvul Yaim. We were only talking about inside in the part of the Azara where it was Mutter. Here we're talking about here is the Machna Shechina. Right. He was talking about Tvul Yaim. Tvul Yaim is allowed to be in the part of the Azara where it's not Machna Shechina. Machna Shechina is much further in. But for the blood, we see from the Dama Ashram and the Shemen, that came from the part of where the Shechina was, the Machna Shechina was. That's also min HaTorah, that's a Chiyuv of Kares. And he needed that in order to be purified from the Saras. Amalei, Ullah said back to Rabbi Shami Tunach, from what you're asking, I can answer you. Shiny Mitzvah. Mitzvah is different. Since you were mater, the Isa of entering into the Azar B'chal as a Mitzvah, for the Matan Bahunas, you said that he's allowed because he's still a Mechusik Yipurim. He has to, even though he did everything he has to, but he needs to get that blood placed on his ear, finger, and his toe. So since the Torah was mater, right? So they were already mater mitzad balkari, because you already weakened the tumah. It doesn't have such a strong tumah. Mitzad tzadas, mitzad mitzvah is allowed to enter. So if mitzad to become purified mitzvah is allowed to enter, so the tumah of keri falls off. Amar Rav Yosef Kasava Ula, does the Ula hold Ruban? That if most of the tzibah of the Kahanim Shabbat Yerushalayim were Zavim on Erev Pesach, which it doesn't get pushed off for Korban Pesach, and then the Nasu Tmeya Mason, Tuma Huta B'Tzibur B'Chlal. What kind of Tuma do we say Huta B'Tzibur? Only if it's Tmeya Mason. Okay. But if it's Tmeya Zavim, there's no Huta B'Tzibur. So what happened over here? They were all it was Reiv Tmeya Zavim, and then they became Reiv Tmeya Mason.
And then they should be
so Ahayva Hutal Tumasa, Hutal Zivasa. You say, the Tumah became weakened because the Tamei Mace is Huta B'Tzibur. So now we're going to be matter this the zivam that they all caught. I'm like, Abaye, how could you compare? Tuma Ishtarai, the Torah was mater, but Tuma Ziva that
Ishtarai.
What? By Tumas Mason, yeah. the first ziva, the first tuma was ziva.
Yeah.
Second one is the tamei mace. So if you're removing only the outer cover, but the inner cover is still there. The inner tuma is still there. Here we're talking about he was a mitzvah first, and you're removing the mitzvah, so then you're removing the carry as well.
No,
Amalei Dilma Hachi Kamamar. This is he's answering, I guess. Perhaps this is what the Marv meant. Rubam Tbaya Mesim, right? And then V'nasu Zavim. If there were majority Tamei Mesim first, and then they became Zavim. Hayil V'hutul L'Tumasam. Since they became muta from the first coat of Tumah. So once the first coat is removed, the second coat is removed automatically. So then hutul is zivas, and then the second coat that's kemvashtain. But in the reverse, not. So Amalei Rav Yisrael said take in. Yeah, that's the pshat. And tomorrow we'll continue. Yeah, that's good.